Good afternoon and welcome to our afternoon show on Providence Television International. On today's topic, we'll actually be looking at an enigma, a man who has put in so much into society, and today we deemed it quite well to have him in our studio to be able to talk about his life, to be able to give us some insight as to what has really brought him this far. Incidentally, today also happens to be his birthday. So we'll be looking at some of those principles that have kept him on. I am talking about no other individual than the chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
On behalf of Providence Television International, the members of staff, I wish you a wonderful, happy birthday.
Yes, a great day for me. Usually I look forward to it, August 3rd. And this year's one is particularly interesting because I was born on a Saturday.
Oh.
And today is Saturday, so a very big pleasure of mine. And as early as 5 in the morning, people were already calling. Either by phone calls or by text messages or WhatsApp messages. Somebody woke me up at about 5. That I know very well. And guess what? The call came from the US.
Wow.
You know. Then of course my wife, my children, my grandchildren, friends from all over the world. I was humbled. Quite frankly, I was humbled. Maybe because it's almost coinciding with Providence Television International. The responses have been overwhelming, quite frankly, and I was really full of joy that this birthday has brought many people closer to me. For instance, the staff have been quite fantastic. They've been calling, they've been wishing me all the very best. So I'm enjoying myself. Somebody even said, just go ahead and do shakara. So God be the glory, yes.
Yeah, that is well. Thank God. Okay, then coming down to, you just mentioned that maybe you are also so happy because it coincides with the celebration of test run of Providence Television. Providence Television, as it were. Before we look at that, so many people, you've been putting a lot into broadcasting. So many people, once the name Emmanuel Egharevba is mentioned, they think about news, they think about sports presentation and things like that. But so many other people do not know that you're an author.
They don't know, yes, that's true. My authorship thing started maybe about 15 years ago. Or thereabout. So it's not particularly new. Churned out about 7 or 8, almost in a series. Some even back to back. Okay, so I've been up and doing. I mean, in terms of writing, I enjoy writing, and I write better than I speak.
Oh, really?
That's the secret that people don't even know. Oh, you speak so well. Oh, we like your language, and but I write more strongly. Yes, that's the secret. So I've been writing. The last one really is Pathways to Effective Leadership. The book sold out within 2 months. Sold out completely. And just as fast as the one I did on the late press of Osho. So, but this one is particularly close to my heart because it's a subject matter that is so crucial in our present day environment. Leadership is the issue, really. But I think one of the chapters even goes by that leadership is the issue. Whether you are at home as a husband, in the corporate world, in government, as a governor or president, leadership is the issue. Because it is what you do by leadership that determines your success. There are many people I know who have turned their homes into hell because leadership is lacking. So it's very important, yes.
As regards to your book, the title of your book, Pathways to Effective Leadership. From your take, you can say that there's this present trend. For about 2 days, it's been all around the world presently as regards the Nigerian protest. The protest by Nigerians, as the case may be. Would you really look at this as a kind of failure on the part of government for its citizens to take to the streets to decry their actions?
It is when there's a decline in leadership that you have things like this. When leadership is good, is upright, people are happy. In fact, the Bible also talks about that. When the right people are on the throne, the people are happy, but when it's the other way around, they groan. Okay? So they have the right to protest, by the way, and I think that this is one point that most people have agreed on, that the citizens have a right. It's a constitutional right. You cannot take it away from them. Okay. But whether it is violent or not, that's another issue. And I'm happy that for this particular crisis, the casualties have not been too many, unlike what we had during the NSAS crisis. That was a program, and for this, kudos to the police, probably. And the people themselves, particularly in Edo State, you could see that in Benin, the streets were barren, all right, in the first couple of days, but no casualties as such. So we're happy about that. But I want people to learn something from this. And it was what Gandhi used against the British authorities in those days. About civil disobedience. In civil disobedience, you do not carry placards, you do not do anything. You just go quietly on the streets. Or you sit in your homes. And that affects the authorities very badly. No violence, nothing. In fact, in some cases, I've seen that somewhere in Europe, people just close their lips. They don't talk. They just march on the streets, and that creates a lot of upheavals in government. So I'm happy that people have not been too violent. It was almost anticipated, but somehow it's only the streets that have been barren. I mean, barren to the extent that young kids now play football on the streets. So for obvious reasons, we can't take the visuals now. But as you know, this is test transmission. We are going through test transmission for Providence Television International, and I believe that next week we'll go full stream when the staff will all have arrived and to take up their positions in different areas.
We're still on the protests. You talked about the level of peace, tranquility in Edo State. It hasn't been that anticipated violence. There's been no violence as anticipated. But then there's always this trend before a protest, because most people do not know the difference, a protest, a riot. And in any of the two of them, we've always seen in Nigeria the presence of the military. You commended the police for their good work in Edo State. You know, that is what we've noticed. And the situation where there has to be militarization of defense issues, that are supposed to be done by the Nigeria police. Do you think it is right? Does it go down well with the citizens? We're not at war, and you find military vans and all that, belonging to military officers and all that, mounted at strategic places.
I think what we really need to understand is that these things are done to basically intimidate people. Also, some might say that it's to preempt. It's not absolutely preemptive. I think it's to intimidate. So you have some no-go areas and things like that. But the question is, must we militarize everything? In this country, we militarize elections. We militarize protests. We should be, well, ordinarily the duty of the police. I was happy a couple of days ago when the Inspector General himself said, look, we're going to do our job perfectly well. No military and all of that. But that if the things go awry of the military, they didn't even need to say that. But let us remember that these two institutions have their different functions, as laid down by the Constitution, the military and the police. There are two different functions altogether, and there shouldn't be an overlap. Yeah, there shouldn't be at all. I'm happy that in the last couple of days, well, the military, we've not had too many reports about military incursions. So well, that should give some good grades.
So what would be your take? What would be your take as regards the present violent nature that this same protest happens to take up north?
We must remember that the mental attitude of our brothers and sisters in the north is different. They are used to riots, not just protests. They are used to riots where you carry sticks and all kinds of weapons. They are used to that. And we can trace it to a situation where they want to take it back on the society. It's a feudal system in the north, you know that. There's feudalism in the north. One man just sits up there. About 400, 500 people are down. He throws food at them. And they say, oh, Rakadede and all that stuff. And tomorrow they are coming back. These are the same people they use when there are uprisings. So they are used to that kind of system. And that's why we're all praying that these things should not degenerate in the north. Because it's an attitudinal thing. You can't change it almost immediately. And you can also tie it back to the fact that millions of these kids are out of school. Okay? They're out there begging for arms and things like that. So they are vulnerable. They are the same people that political actors use.
Yes. Okay. On that precept, because you said something, millions of these people are out of school. Are you saying that for up north, the level of violence, that the level of education still has to play? The level of education of the individual still comes into play. Is that what exactly the picture you're painting here?
Yes, a lot of world leaders have talked about it. I mean, Mandela, for instance, I talked about it when he was alive, that when you educate a man, you educate his mind. No, and everything starts from the mind. Education is very important. Important to the extent that you now have the opportunity of knowing what is wrong and what is right. Okay? When you are not educated, it is worse than hell. Yes, it is worse than hell because you cannot see things from a broad perspective. And I will tell you, some of the leaders in the north have talked about it. I'm happy about that, really. They've talked about this, that look, we need to change the format. We need to educate our young people. Because if you don't, they become real danger to the society. Okay? We're talking about Boko Haram and all of that now. They don't even believe in Western education. Clearly. So, but if we educate them, and this must be in large numbers, then we have less of friction in the north. We have less of turmoil in the north. Yes.
Before we come down to the protests, well, I want to look a little at, we want to take a little insight, or rather we want to have a little insight as regards your background. Today incidentally happens to be your birthday, and there were some principles in the course of your growing up that were imbibed in you by your parents. Could you give us an insight into some of these principles that make you the man that you are today?
Well, first of all, I must say this. I was not close to my mother.
Okay.
I was not. I was closer to my father. In fact, the relationship I had with my father was beyond father and son relationship. We were friends. We were good friends. He didn't have me on time. He was quite an old man when I came along. My mother was a young woman. So, and people will be surprised to know this. I was an only child, only son for 17 years. But I was not spoiled. My father did not pamper me as such. I mean, I could do things that kids were doing when we were in Lagos. I was doing in Lagos, climbing trees, plucking mangoes, playing football and all sorts of things. That was quite rascally when I was young. But my father gave me the best, in spite of his little earnings. He gave me the best. I mean, in terms of training, in terms of education, all right? He wanted me to go to King's College, all right? But he was retiring at the time, and the people said, no, I had to be a day student or something. So came to Edo College. It was also very good, a fantastic college that has produced me and many other people. So, but he knew, incidentally, he didn't go to school at all. Yeah, that would surprise you. But he knew the value of education. He ensured that he gave me the best. I mean, in terms of education, and he was proud of me because even as the only child, I know that in Lagos in those days, he had a lot of friends. So in the private school, when the results came out, they would say, "Oh, look at the son of Josiah. That's me now. Oh, in the top 3, I was there." Particularly in the primary school, I was quite hot in the primary school. So he was proud, and that made him happy. Oh, the only son, the only child, but doing well, Even when I came to Benin, I grew up in Bisama area, which was quite a hot spot in terms of, I don't want to use the word miscreant, but they looked like miscreants. I grew up in their midst, but I was never drawn into the vortex Right, so my father was a great man.
So
he was a great man.
And
he
so,
gave me those values. Values of hard work.
Yes.
Values of resilience. And godliness. Yes, he was quite and justice. It was when I was in my final year in law, we had a course called jurisprudence. Some of the things I learned, where I learned from my father.
Okay.
You know, he was a arbiter. You come to him and he would judge perfectly. Yes, he did that. All right.
And as regards, because there was something that I picked in the course of your discussion. You said amongst the people that you grew up with, there is this school of thought in sociology or so, that your environment determines who you are. Are you telling me that your environment, especially when you were surrounded by such individuals, did not have any effect on you?
Yeah, but that's where parental intervention comes in. My father knew that I was growing up in an environment that was hostile.
Okay.
That they were fighting and doing something. But it was a sport, really. You talked about area.
Yeah.
In those days, it was a no-go area.
Okay.
But here I was. My father ensured that I didn't mix up with those people, because he was quite happy that education would play a very vital role in whatever I was doing. And it did, because, of course, Edo College was the issue.
Yeah.
Went to Edo College. Edo College was a citadel of learning, of discipline. Those of us who went there in the 70s, we were drawn into an environment that was near perfect.
Okay.
All round.
Okay.
In terms of education, in terms of sports, in terms of discipline. Where, I mean, you won't believe this, I still water my flowers.
Oh.
Because I had a flower edge when I was at Edo College.
Okay.
I still dressed my bed. Yes, we did all these things while we were in college. We thought we were being punished, but we were the better for it. And it was a leveler.
Okay.
I don't know it was a leveler. And you asked me, why was it a leveler? Whether you were a son of a minister or president, it didn't matter.
Okay.
Yes. Once you came into the school premises, it was a level.
Okay.
We didn't know the difference. In fact, it will even shock you, most of us did not know, I mean, by way of tribal sentiments now, we did not know where we came from until we left Edo College. And that's the truth. It didn't bother us. Okay. We were just trained to be Nigerians. We were brought up as Nigerians. It was later when we left college that I knew that, oh, this guy is from Ijo, the other is Robo and all that. We didn't, and nobody cared.
Okay.
Yes.
Looking at from your point of view, you love education.
Yeah, sure.
There's a passion in it, even in your tone of voice. And there's a sensitive issue that has been on ground as regards provision of education for all, especially to a certain level. Do you think that the concept of free education is possible now in the Nigerian society?
Absolutely. Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible, because if you want to develop, truly speaking, you have to develop the human mind through education. Okay. Education can be free. I mean, Awolowo did it when he was around. He did it in the Western region. In fact, most of the professors we have now are beneficiaries of that process. Yes, beneficiaries. They went through college. And when Ambrose Ali, during the Second Republic, when Ambrose Ali was here as governor, may his soul rest in peace, we had bursary awards. Okay. Up to university level, we had bursary awards. My wife benefited from it because she was in Ahmadu Bello University. Okay. So it is doable, it is possible. And it is when our leaders put their hands into the public till that they begin to think that education is not possible. What makes them think that free education is not possible? It is absolutely possible. What does it take? I mean, what does it take to make children go through education? Good education, for that matter. I want to see a situation in this country where public schools are better than private schools, because we went through that system. Okay. In my time, there were no private schools. Most of them were public schools, and missionary schools, of course. Okay. But now you have private schools that are paying up to 2 million for a kid in JS1.
This still boils down to the issue of leadership. For those who are clamoring that free education is not possible, you say that there is a lapse in the course of sentiments, or rather,
you know, I think that the people are shortchanged.
Shortchanged.
Okay. I mean, in terms of leaders putting their hand into the till, they shortchange the system.
Okay.
Because otherwise, how can you be talking of billions being stuck away somewhere? When people are hungry. People have enough money to send 1,000 students into free education.
Okay.
Yes, they have the money.
Okay.
They're talking people are talking of billions and billions. In fact, I think they're even graduating. Very soon they'll be talking about trillions. You know, being kept in Swiss banks and all of that. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all. So we must tackle that first. It doesn't make sense at all.
Okay.
Because when you take from the society and you are not taking anything back, or you are not giving anything back, you are shortchanging the people.
And that brings us to your having to be the chairman, chief executive officer of Providence Television International, broadcasting. There's no difference. Egharevba is broadcasting is Egharevba. And so, Providence Television, there was this exclusive interview you had some time ago, and I believe that so many people came out to watch. And so, we'll just take a little bit of a tip of the iceberg. What is that change that Providence Television, because the slogan, the game changer seems, not seems, is. Yes, our slogan. And so, what is that specific thing that you want to put in to Providence Television to make that change?
I will tell you outright. We want to make television a very pleasant thing that people will say, yes, I want to go back home and watch certain program. Yes. And incidentally, all the programs we have so far on our schedule are good programs, fantastic programs, catering to the interest of very many segments of the society. We have carefully chosen them. Right? And you must have something to take home. I mean, you're a woman or a man or a child or student or whatever. We have one, for instance, called Our Profession and You. Okay. That should cater to the interests of young people, particularly students in the secondary schools. It guides them as to career choice, because we're going to be talking with engineers, pharmacists, doctors, computer people and all that. Yes, every week we'll have a professional, our profession and you, accountancy, for instance. So it will be a kind of leeway for young people who are a bit confused about career choice. I just gave you that as an example. There are so many.
So many others. I seemed to notice that because of going through the program schedule, Emmanuel Egharevba talk show.
Yes, that's deliberate. Because way back into the 80s, I had programs when we were in Bendel. I had Pep Show, for example, People, Events and Places, which was a must-watch. Yes, even at that age, it was a must-watch for people. We even had this morning, Saturday morning, it was a talk show. I brought in all kinds of things. It was a potpourri kind of environment, and people liked it a lot. People looked forward to it. So I'm trying to replicate that by tying my name to it. Hopefully we should have all kinds of things coming to the program, health issues, sports, and as I said, a potpourri, of sorts. Yes.
Talking about still on the programs, sports. Everybody knows you as a sports presenter. Yes. We're going to be having Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba, CEO, sitting down to give us sports analysis and all that.
When there's a major tournament like the World Cup, the guy who is going to anchor it on this station can call me. I will answer. Yeah, to come and give analysis. Why? There's nothing wrong with that. I'll read the news, by the way, maybe a couple of times a week. As an exemplar to young people in the system.
That gives you quite a surprise. I've seen entrepreneurs, I've seen individuals who own other media houses. I never see them presenting. Why would you want to do that?
Why? Because it's in my DNA. Yes. Read the news, I go do interviews. My prime movers will still be on, and a few things. I enjoy it. I mean, it's all about passion, really. It's all about passion and interest. And guess what? This will also serve as a kind of tonic for young people. Once they see me do things, they will be confused. And if they do it wrongly, I'm empowered to correct them. That look, that's not the way it should be. That pronunciation, if you read the news and you make mistakes in the pronunciation, I can easily tell you because I've been there. I've gone through the whole stuff.
We'll just look at one other program that we have just before we take this break for some other, in preparation for some other programs along the line, political showcase. There's been this tendency of stations, media houses, having to have a kind of political affiliation to a particular political party. Is Providence Television going to toe that same line?
No, professionally it's even wrong. And even the NBC code is against it. It's illegal for you to tilt. Absolutely. You must give a wide space for them to operate. In other words, you must give ample opportunities for them to express their opinions or whatever it is. So you can't dance to one. It is dangerous for any media operator to dance to one, because as I explained in the last interview, we want to maintain neutrality.
Okay.
If you don't, chances are that you are going to create opportunities for people to look at you and say, this man is partial. And we don't want to do that. Quite frankly, we don't want to do that. And we're going to tell the operatives who go out, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be seen to be doing that. Yes. Because once you tilt too heavily to one of the political parties, the others will antagonize you. They will label you, for sure. And you won't blame them, because they expect you to give equal opportunities for them to express whatever they want to say. So I just believe that we have to be careful, we have to be diligent in what we do. Political programs are very sensitive programs, very sensitive. And if you don't handle them well, you run into troubled waters.
And so on that note, this is actually, like I told you, it is an afternoon show. It is an afternoon program. For those of you out there who are presently watching, this is Providence Television International, and we are speaking with Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba, who happens to be the CEO of Providence Television International. We'll be taking this break. Do not actually go away. Though we have other programs coming up, but for this segment that we've had with Dr. Egharevba, it's a continuous segment. We'll be discussing so much as regards not just the station's program schedule. No, there'll be so many topics that Dr. Egharevba, I know, yes, so many of you out there are wondering, are we cutting him off? So no, we're not. This is just a preamble to tell you or to show you what we have in stock for you as regards such personalities as Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba. On this note, I will say, please don't go away.
I'm sorry about this. Just to quickly mention that very soon the staff will resume full stream, and then they will be pigeonholed into different programs. That process is on. You as the editor, by the way, you forgot to tell them that I shouldn't do that for you. But let me tell the viewers that Egharevba is Manager News and Current Affairs, and he's coming from the background of news and news production. So you're welcome on board.
Thank you so much,
yes,
sir.
Yes, welcome on board. There will be others who will be taking up one or two responsibilities. But the station will be formally commissioned, to the glory of God, on the 22nd of August. We are going to have people who have stood by us over time. They will come. The ASA of Benin, Chief Egharevba, I saw him a few days ago to tell him that I was going to be the chairman, and he agreed. A man of 95.
Wow.
Yes, that was a big privilege for me, a great honor. He must be the last man of all the Asians at the college still standing. All the others have gone. So, but he agreed to be here on the 22nd. We've written to our royal father, expecting that he will send representatives. The governor obviously should come to unveil the plaque, officially unveil, so that we can start full operations. So those are the television station has been duly registered by the Corporate Affairs Commission, which is very important. So, and we are reaching out to people. People are responding already from all over the world.
Okay, well, that's quite wonderful information there. Well, like I said earlier on, that's so much to look up to. That's a ceremony that definitely will be attended, and it will also be televised. I would want to say, continuously, just stay on with Providence Television International, because we are seriously out to give you the best, and we're going to live up to that slogan of ours, the game changer. Don't go away. Do stay tuned.
Thank you very much. We should come out. We should. Okay. And now you say ready.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Providence Television Afternoon Show. I hope you've been having a wonderful day up until this moment. With the afternoon show, during the afternoon show, we have a whole lot lined up for you. But we'll first of all start off with our paper review. I am not alone in the studio. I have the chairman, CEO of Providence Television International with me in the studio. You're welcome, Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Like I told you earlier on, we'll start off with the our news review. We'll first of all be going down to the Punch newspapers, where we have a scribbling header: Tinubu's speech attracts knocks kudos. While we'll be waiting for the visuals as regards that, Dr. Egharevba, what's your take on the speech that was given yesterday?
Well, expectedly, you will appreciate the fact that a lot of people watched it.
Yeah.
They also listened on radio. Naturally, you will expect people to be on both sides of the divide. Some people will not agree. Some people will not, agree completely with the president. Some will discard it, obviously. But if you ask me my take, I would say, I think the speech did not address the core issues. And what are the core issues? The issue of fuel subsidy, and the issue of security, high cost of living, and all of that. So the people will have been happier, obviously, if they heard that, the price of petroleum products, the prices, as it were, the PMS and diesel have come down considerably, but they didn't hear that. So there's a great deal of apprehension. Okay, and I thought that the speechwriters will have done a better job. As a matter of fact, will have done a much better job for the president. Yes, because once you have a crisis like this, first of all, you tackle what the people want first and foremost. People will say it was rhetorical. I don't want to think so, but yes, naturally, you expect that people will be on both sides of the divide. Right? So that's the issue. I mean, I understand that some security personnel shot at some protesters.
Yes.
Yes, even Wole Soyinka, who is an ardent supporter of the president, said that he was disappointed that the speech did not touch on police brutality. Yeah. Okay? So these are the issues that ought to have been in the speech, by the way.
Before that speech, actually, Nigerians were not really happy that from the first day of the protest, that the president had not come out to address issues. Do you think that in such issues that there should be a kind of timing before the president addresses the populace? I
said it, in fact, you remember I said it on one of the programs, that the president ought to have come out a day before, or even the first day of the protest. Say, look, fellow Nigerians, we have issues, but you must understand that these issues are not insurmountable. Okay? I think the president missed the opportunity. He missed the opportunity. Saying it at the time he did was missing the track. I mean, if I was the president, I would say it clearly, possibly on the eve of the protest, or that same day, because we had all kinds of reactions on the first day, and I thought the president didn't have to wait much longer. Okay, but people are even saying that he is even talking, unlike Buhari. Buhari didn't talk at all. I mean, he just said, you people should go on and on and on and on. But he spoke. But it's just that he didn't reach to the heart of the issues. If he had said one or two things concerning, in any case, come to think of it, all these problems we have concerning inflation, prices going up and all that, it has to do with a fuel increase. Okay. All right? Okay. That's what people are saying. I mean, simple economics. If you bring the price of fuel down today, everything comes back to normal. Right? So that's what people think, and I think they are right.
All right. Yes. Well, good. Let us look at what we have with the papers. Like I said, the paper review. We'll be looking at the Punch. They have a screaming headline there that says, "Hunger protests, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks kudos." You made mention of Soyinka having to speak out. Soyinka just made if you check your rider there, Soyinka PDP slam president's address. Are you of this point of view that actually those who used to be seen as full-time supporters are now coming out to say, no, we're against this your speech? That means it was actually faulty.
It's good for democracy. I mean, obviously, it's good for democracy. I mean, if you realize one or two things in the United States, members of the same political party with the president will criticize him more on certain issues. Okay, they will even ask him to resign. Okay. So when you have people, ardent supporters like Wale Soyinka coming out strongly, perhaps, to criticize the president, it means that democracy is winning. We don't expect the friends of the president to be talking in his favor all the time. That's not the beauty of democracy. All right.
We have a rider there. Protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees released. That means that just with the period of these protests, so we have some detainees.
But you remember we talked about it yesterday. In Edo State, for instance, I think we're a bit lucky. We didn't have too many infractions. But up north, I know there were serious issues. And you can explain why. Can explain why quite copiously. In the south, particularly Edo and Delta states, I don't think it happened so much. I even gave kudos to the police. Remember. So, but if it happened, and if that's a story that we want to rely on coming from a major newspaper, then the president has to do a lot, to ensure that these people get justice. Because I'm sure that not all of them will have been involved in all kinds of infractions, as you know.
Okay, well, as the case may be, we've also seen the situation where non-governmental organizations have been able to hail the president's address. You talked about a divide where you have some people in support and some others not being in support. Some non-governmental organizations, like I said, are in support presently, and you now say that they are not sensitive to the plight of the Nigerian people.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about, the Punch. I don't know what the other papers might be saying. But obviously, I think generality of people of this country are on the same page with what the people are going through. I believe that we can, yes, empathize with the people. It is right for us to do that, to empathize with the people. Many people are hungry. There's no doubt about that. Many people cannot feed the way they ought to feed. And I believe that this can be ameliorated by the federal authorities. The president has to play a role as the father of the nation. All right? So that's what I think.
We will now move from the Punch newspapers down to the Guardian, where we have also another screaming header that says outrage over rehash of old policies, threats, and then failure to suit protesters. You talked about the failure of the speech to suit protesters. What exactly would one have expected in the president's speech to suit the nerves of the protesters?
I mentioned all of this before a little while ago. That look, there are three issues. One, the issue of the fuel price. Okay, that should have been addressed. It should have been on the front burner. Then the issue of high cost of living. Many people are groaning under that, and of course security. So we have all of these put together, and they are overwhelming a lot of Nigerians, really. They are overwhelming a lot of Nigerians, and I believe that, yes, government should do something, but in fact, quickly, so we don't reach a tipping point. The government should address these issues very, very seriously, because, I mean, people are buying fuel now in this part of the country at 820 naira per liter. 2,000 naira cannot give you 3 liters of fuel. And a lot of businesses depend, by the way, a lot of businesses depend on fuel, all right? I mean, we are running this program now on fuel, all right? So, and once that comes down, prices will come down, obviously. Yes, prices will come down. And don't forget, we don't have all the infrastructure we need in terms of good roads and all of that. So, but even that is an issue. the issue of roads.
Okay.
People are bringing in food from all over the places. So, but if we have good roads, then that also reduces the pressure points on the food prices. Yes.
All right, still on the Guardian, we have a writer there also that says Kano judiciary probes looting of courts as protest continues. Is that not on the funny side?
Well, the courts also have a voice. I mean, they have been shortchanged, obviously. So, and it's painful because the judiciary is an arm of government, in fact, a very potent arm of government. So when you have the institutions being bastardized, you can always expect something like this. But I should think that the governors have a duty to also enlighten their citizens. Yeah, if you are protesting, protest within the ambit of the law. Don't go overboard. By the time you start destroying property, that's where authorities now become reactionary. Yes.
Okay. We'll move ahead to the Daily Trust. On the Daily Trust, we have Atiku, Soyinka, Falana, others pick holes in Tinubu's speech. There really seems to be quite those you would have expected. At the time, it was projected that the Yorubas, because of tribal sentiments, have been on Tinubu's side. But from what we are seeing from the headlines, it doesn't seem to be the take of the day. Are you of that opinion? This sudden shift, does it now mean that the economic hardship, one way or the other, is also getting to them?
Economic hardship has no boundaries. Okay? Even the so-called super rich people, they have dependents. They have dependents who rely on them for survival. So they also feel the pinch. But you see, what names do you have there? You have Falana, he's a Yoruba man. You have Wole Soyinka, he's a Yoruba man. Therefore, what that means is that barriers, ethnic barriers are breaking down. All right? And quite frankly, I believe that there are many more Yoruba people, for instance, brothers and sisters in the Southwest, who are not in support of these things. Most people are hungry, okay? And it's a challenge for many households now. I will just quickly talk about something. This issue of palliatives. Okay? It's tokenism. That's not the best way to address what we have on ground.
Oh, not palliatives?
Yes. I mean, yeah, we can give palliatives, but we shouldn't make it look like palliatives are the solution to the problem. Obviously, they are not the solution. I mean, you could have seen in the last few days, even the palliatives being distributed to wrong hands and all of that. I should expect that farmers should be encouraged. Because food security is something that is so relevant when you're talking about development. But when you begin to, in any case, palliatives will get finished. They will get exhausted. If you give a bag of rice to a household, how long does that last? Probably a month. So you're back to the square one. So palliatives should not be the things to be encouraged at all. I mean, I've never believed that palliatives can be a solution to the problem. The solution to the problem is aggressive attack on some of these issues. Security, for instance. I mean, if you go to the Middle Belt now, Plateau, Benue State, they are no longer the food basket of the nation. And that's where the food we eat mostly in this country, they come from there. All right.
Still on Soyinka now. Soyinka says you can't serve bullets. We're still on the Daily Trust. You can't serve bullets where bread is pleaded. Exactly.
You can't serve bullet. Live bullets.
Yes.
For instance. You must put bread. Well, I mean, our leaders, we'll talk about this when we're talking about leadership. Leaders must learn to put bread on the table of the people. If you don't do that, they get hungry. And a hungry man is what? Is an angry man. Hunger doesn't know Tiv, he doesn't know Igbo, he doesn't know Hausa or Yoruba, because we all go to the same market anyway. I know the pressure point put on my own household by my wife, and quite rightly, you know, and every household experiences this thing, okay? So, but it depends on how much is put into your pocket that you're able to address. There are many people who cannot feed 3 times a day. No, they just cannot. And that is that's critical for development. It's very critical.
Okay, the protests, there's this time frame from 1st to 10th August. And from what we have on the Daily News Hub, protesters shun Tinubu's plea, re-strategize, mobilize to occupy Abuja today. Are you in support of the fact that this protest should go on?
Well, it depends on the organizers. I believe that, yes, there could be room for dialogue in the interim. Okay. Yes, but you know Nigerians, they will get exhausted very quickly. Yes, no, they can't go the distance. They are not long. They have no long staying power. Okay. For 10 days, people will be on the streets. It's not possible because in any case, these are the people who have not really eaten. Okay. So I believe that there must be room for dialogue. The president must make room for dialogue. I mean, call the people. They call them faceless, but they are talking from behind the scene. They are organizing things behind the scene. So they are not really completely faceless. Call them to a round table. What do we do? Okay. Labor, all the stakeholders, labor should be involved. Government representatives should be involved. Okay. Finance houses should be involved. Okay. All right. Okay. So all the major stakeholders should be involved. And we must look at things holistically. And it's a very simple solution, really. Very simple solution without doing any kind of grandstanding. Okay. We cannot play the Superman. This is not the time for that. The president shouldn't play the Superman, the heroic kind of thing. Okay. And we must look at the issue of fuel. All right? Fuel subsidy will come and go, but Nigerians will remain. Right? Nigerians are the reason why the president is there in Abuja. So there must be room for dialogue, and there must be opportunities for us to tell the people that violence doesn't solve the problem. You remember what I said the other day, I think about a couple of days ago, we were on a live transmission, and I said, look, what Nigeria should be doing is civil disobedience. Yeah. Just be quiet, go on the street, seal up your lips, and just be going. Don't say anything, just stay quietly. The government will listen without throwing sticks and all kinds of weapons, you know, at public institutions. You understand what I mean? Yes. It has worked elsewhere. It works regularly in Europe. It worked during the time of Gandhi. In fact, that's why Gandhi is called the father of modern-day India, because he used that very, very well against the British authorities. And it worked. Civil disobedience, yes.
Coming down to that point, because later on in the program we're going to actually discuss that the relationship between religion and politics is actually a relationship within that. But we'll take this break. I will come back after this time out. For today on the afternoon show, but like I would always tell you, do not go anywhere. Providence Television International, we are here to give you the best. We'll be coming up still on the afternoon show with a very, very wonderful topic to discuss, and I have some guests in the studio. We will be discussing the link between religion and politics. We are actually going to just have a little tip of the iceberg as regards it. Dr. Egharevba is still in the studio, so we'll just touch a little bit of it while our other guests are waiting. Sir, the link between religion and politics, is there actually a link? Are they interconnected?
You have religion in politics. You have politics in religion. They are interwoven. Okay. Yeah, they are interwoven. Even in the Bible, plenty of politics. Why must Jesus, the good Lord, call himself the Lord? They question that. Okay. Even in modern day times, there's so much politics going on within the body of Christ. Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't shock you. Because look at the Christian Association of Nigeria. The head should be a Catholic. Some are saying, no, the head should not be a Catholic. The head should be a Pentecostal guy and all that stuff. Look at the way our politics is run in this country. Oh, it shouldn't be a Muslim ticket. That's politics, by the way. Okay? We should have a Christian president supported by a Muslim vice president, or vice versa. All right? If that is not politics, then what is? So religion and politics, they may not necessarily mix the way you are thinking. Okay. But we make them mix. You know? And invariably, there's no environment where you don't have religion. I mean, in England, for instance, if you're an atheist, that puts you on one side, if you don't even believe in God at all. Right? Whereas you are good to be the Prime Minister of England. But because of that, a lot of people will not vote for you.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So if you say in this country you are a Muslim and you want a Muslim vice president, obviously you are stepping on toes.
Okay.
Even though the two people might just be superb candidates. Yes. But we put all kinds of sentiments. And look at the way the churches are run these days. I mean, there's so much wrangling going on as to positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be this, I want to be president of this, I want to be president of that organization, all within the body of Christ. All right. So we must even look at the papacy.
Okay.
Look at the papacy in the Catholic Church, for instance. A black man is good enough to be the Pope. And people are saying no. Yeah, they're saying no, it's not the time for a black man. It must be a white man. I mean...
and that is not actually what the norm should be. There should be a divide between races. Or
it's not. So you bring all sorts of issues of racism and all of that into the body politic of religion. It's not good enough for us.
Okay.
It happens globally, but even in Nigeria it's worse.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are divided by so many things. And again, religion is a very sensitive thing. So when you bring politics into religion, then you are creating room for religious intolerance.
Okay.
Okay? I grew up in Lagos, for instance. When I was growing up, I was brought up in a community in which we had a good mix. There was, we had Christians, we had Muslims, even people who did not believe in any of these two religions. And we all grew up together. We didn't, I mean, the Muslims would celebrate with us for Christmas, we would celebrate with them during their Kabir or their Fitri. We didn't know, because religion was not playing a prominent role. Even the leaders then, and kudos to them, they didn't bring it up as an issue.
Okay.
It was a few years ago that we started having religion as an issue in politics. Otherwise, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all. Now, the question is, in Edo State, for instance, we have Muslims, we have Christians, but I can't remember, prove me wrong if or otherwise, that you have a Christian governor who has a Muslim.
That has happened in a long way.
Pardon?
I said that hasn't happened in quite a long time.
It hasn't happened.
Yes.
It hasn't happened. Otherwise, the Muslims too should have a voice. But we are so polarized by so many things that at the national level, oh no, we bring in the issue of Christian and Muslim. And for balance, I agree, but it must not play, must not be in the front burner.
Be in the front burner.
Yeah, it mustn't be in the front burner, because we are looking at the intellect of the people who are involved, not their religion. And in any case, religion is the opium of the people. How I wish I could be saying this on a regular basis. People will ask me, oh, what's your religion? I'll tell them religion of God, not even Christianity. Yes, and you ask me why. Religion of God, because religion of God will tell you it is compassion, it is kindness, it is justice, and all of that, in accordance with the will of the Almighty.
Of the Almighty.
Yes.
And then, I think that this influx of politics into religion is what has brought about a kind of backdrop in values as regards religious values. Majority of the people out there think that most churches, religious bodies, now focus more on the material instead of the spiritual.
And the two can never mix well. Spiritualism and materialism. One of them must lose out. And what is that loses out? It is spirituality. Yes. And that is why materialism has been elevated in most of the churches. I mean, look at them. Look at the stories we hear. I mean, people go to herbalists and native doctors to do all kinds of things, also to ensure that they have large numbers in their congregation. Yeah, they go into rituals. This has never been happening in this country. And I feel a sense of shame that Christian leaders should be doing that kind of thing. Why? Because they want to belong. They want to have the best of cars. They want to have the best of... some of them are even having 1-2 aircraft. Yeah, they want to belong. They have mansions all over the place. But the Lord Jesus Christ, that was not the template that he gave us. The donkey that he used was borrowed in Jerusalem. It was borrowed. All right? Look at where Jesus was born. He was born in a manger. Our Lord and God will have made him come through one of those mansions in Judea. But he chose to let him come through to show simplicity. We have lost simplicity out of religion. Completely. We have lost it.
Okay.
Why must a religious leader, for example, be going with a band of armed policemen? No, I wonder. I mean, let me give you a typical example. When I met the Archbishop the other day, said, Your Grace, please, may please you come and bless my office or the station. He agreed in principle. In fact, he asked me, where do you want me to come? I said, no, Your Grace, you choose. They said, no. And I picked a particular day. I think it was on a Friday. Said I'll be there. I'll be there at 10. 5 minutes to 10 he was here. And he came alone. Yes, with his driver and his PA. Just that. No fanfare, nothing. And that's the simplicity. That's the way of the Lord. And that is what even the Quran teaches. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's what he teaches. That we should be simple. Look at the way we pray. It has become an organized festival. It's ridiculous. I go into some churches once in a while, maybe for Thanksgiving and all that, and the whole arena is turned into
kind of carnival style
stuff. No, that's not the way of the Lord. Yes, you could be happy and be doing that, but it should not take the front burner. That's what I'm saying. So we must look at the tenets as laid down by Jesus. Jesus is the founder of Christianity. Just like Muhammad is the founder of Islam. And if you look at all the major leaders of religion around the world, Buddha, for instance, they all preach simplicity because it's the bedrock. Simplicity. When you are simple, you can't be wrong. You can't.
And so coming down to that precept, moral, there's this increase in the rate of moral decadence in the society. Can it be tagged to religious inefficiencies, as the case may be?
I'll tell you this. Once the leader of the church takes the wrong path, the people follow him. And that is why it is necessary for church leaders, religious leaders, to go on the right path, so they don't lead the people astray. Because the people, and maybe you cannot even blame them, but say, oh no, this is my pastor, this is this, you must follow the path that he has chosen. Without even minding whether he's doing the right thing or not. And that's why I always tell people that, look, you must have the ability to judge between the right and wrong. It's not to criticize unduly. But if the pastor is doing the wrong thing, you must let him know. Otherwise, you are not helping him. Yeah, sometimes they are even unaware. You must let him know that, look, you are going on the wrong path. You are leading the people astray. And once you do that, many more people will follow. Yes. And that's the real danger. Yes. Moral values are lost in that process. And you go to the social media, you see all kinds of things. I mean, I saw one the other day that probably went viral. Somebody, he must have called one of the carpenters or something to put a door. Then he asked people to be going through that door. The door leads to heaven. I mean, that is insanity. It's insanity, and people were dropping money to go through that.
And do you think, because there's some other people have reduced it to the level of poverty?
Poverty, yes.
You would agree with that? That poverty is okay.
Yes, I agree. You know why I will agree? If this country today, and a lot of Catholic priests have agreed with me on this basis. Now, if a miracle happens, and 95% of the people in this country can get 3 square meters a day, you won't find people in the church. No, you won't. Because, and there's so much encumbrance. So much encumbrance on their minds that a lot of these pastors, they tell them that, look, you must come to church to get
this special blessing or that.
Blessing to be a millionaire or billionaire or whatever. Whereas you are not working hard. It doesn't make sense. You are a laggard. And yet you want to become a millionaire. That's even against the will of God. The Bible says you must put your hand on the plow and walk.
Exactly. Since we're talking about religion, that brings, you just brought up about a point. If you're saying that, yes, I remember, I'll bless the work of your hands. Part of the biblical script, I'll bless the work of your hands. And so does that now mean that in our days that there are no more miracles possible? Would you want to agree with that?
There are miracles still happening if you key into the mind of God properly. You do not expect manna to come from heaven because you're expecting a miracle. You must work. Yes, you cannot sit idly by and expect a miracle to happen. No, God doesn't work that way. He doesn't, because God himself is a hard worker. Remember, he worked so hard that he had to rest, even the God Almighty. Yes, the creator of heaven and earth. Not to talk of we, humans. So we must learn to be embedded into the mind of God.
Okay.
And what is there? Those elements of spirituality that we just talked about. Okay. Because if you deviate from that, then you are not in consonance. You are not in consonance at all.
And so it brings me to this monetization of most activities of the church. What is your take on that? Monetization, where I say that you see a situation that there are churches that you go to, for you to buy a towel, they'll tell you it's a miracle towel, you need to buy hot holy water and all that. In some churches, they need to be paid for. Then there are some instincts that you put under your bed that are paid for. Monetization of items.
That's insanity. Put simply, it's just insanity. And you are bamboozling the people. Blind faith. They're very blind faith. Because you are deviating from the will of the Almighty Father. Okay? Now, I'm not against people putting in their substance, for church development. In any case, the church must expand. You want to build houses for your leaders. You want to train priests. You want to, all sorts of things that money can cater to. You even want to buy a vehicle for your priests. We do that often in the Catholic Church. So that's the way it is. Okay.
It has been quite an engaging session as usual with Dr. Emmanuel Egharevba. Like I've always promised you, we'll have so much more in the kitty for you on Providence Television International. We'll come to the end of this segment. Once again, I say thank you for staying tuned. Do have a wonderful afternoon ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Always engaging.
Oh, yeah.